Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Malaika K, Falla of Malaika International, seeking to make all lives actualize and inspire true kind actions. I am passionate about inspiring change through interconnectedness and taking compassionate actions towards our fellow human beings. Today, I love to be back with you and continue on our conversation and talk about hope in an interconnected world. What is hope? We all define hope, or we all have our own definition for hope, and that depends on what is happening in our life, who we are, what we want, what's our anticipated needs for our tomorrow. And you can go down the list and talk about hope or define hope in ways that is conducive to your well-being. But for this subject here, what is hope? And why is hope so important in our interconnected world? Well, one would say that the true definition of hope depends on our human consciousness and of course our human choice. Because our human spirit for hope becomes so powerful, and it is profoundly vital to our humanness. You can think about it in this way. Our need for hope, it must be persistent without being doubtful or having a doubtful beliefs, if that's how we want to put it, in a state of worthiness, that worthiness of our human spirit. Hope also has a way of supporting us, is that anticipated aspect of allowing us or bringing us towards our given goals. And we say tomorrow, 1 year from now, 2 weeks from now. Because what it does, it encourages us to envision ourselves with specific undertakings, which helps us move in direction. It helps us move in directions that are suitable for our ideas. Okay, let's look at hope from a biblical standpoint, because the word hope comes from within that space. When we talk about hope, we recognize the word hope through a biblical standing, through our beliefs in whatever we believe in for ourselves. But in First Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13, it clearly spelled out faith, hope, and love. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it's a place where you can find means and meaning from a biblical standpoint in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13. That speaks to the word about hope through its explanation with faith, hope, and love. And in that regards, faith, hope, and love, whenever one thinks about hope, the first thing that I do believe when one thinks about hope, it is in a clear space that one will be well grounded by aligning hope with faith and of course love. And we will get to that point and talk about it, okay? So in that space that talks about faith, hope, and love, we said 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13. Because our need for hope, it resides in what? It resides in faith and love. but through what? Through persistent with certain beliefs of worthiness in our human spirit. Because hope is like creating a conscious choice for yourself, maybe for a given vision in your mindset, my mindset, but believing it through specific actions to be taken. Okay, so there's another verse in the Bible that I thought was very important. You can do your personal research on that. It's Romans chapter 8 verse 24 that talks about hope and faith, and why hope and faith is in straight alignment. I talked about just in the brief place right now. I talked about how hope is creating what? It's creating a conscious choice of a given vision. And that given vision that's in our mind is allowing us to believe things to a specific need, and that specific need of taking specific action. One can say, I hope for world peace. I hope for world peace is quite an ambiguous statement, because you are not alone hoping for world peace. But in your conscious state of being, you've made that choice and you hope for world peace. In which state I do believe that wherever you are, in your own surrounding, you're going to make a conscious choice to be peaceful, to be mindful in treating your fellow human being with respect, dignity, that you can extend a world peace to, starting just where you are. And that's the kinds of actions that you might put into it. And we can use hope for another thing, another example. I hope that all goes well through your travel. I hope that what I'm working on, it comes true. Just an example. So that is a conscious choice, but that also comes in the place where you're having, as in Romans chapter 8 verse 24, that talks about hope being in line with faith. So in that place, you're hoping for something to happen, and it says that faith is the evidence of all things unseen, and of course with faith one moves mountains. So in the space of hope, there's an unseen evidence, but you have that strong belief through your anticipated positive affirmation with yourself that you hope that you obtain whatever you're working on, your contract or something, just about anything you can put a name to. So hope is a conscious choice. I want you to think about hope being a conscious choice. That conscious choice allows us to look forward. We're looking forward to a better tomorrow and the future. That's when hope comes into play. And as I just talked about hope for world peace, but remember, hope for world peace isn't just a word, but it is a conscious choice. And what makes that conscious choice? Because that's when I pointed out where you put actions into that conscious choice for world peace. Okay? So hope sometimes hope may be often interrelated, because when you're seeking something very specific, therefore at this point you want something very specific. What do? You're having that faith. You're putting faith into a place. You're seeking something that perhaps you can't even see, which that faith becomes the evidence of all things unseen. So, to be hopeful, one is thinking about there's a promise for tomorrow. That's where hope comes into play. As we all know, they say, let's live in our now because we don't know tomorrow. Well, hope comes and tells us there is promise for tomorrow. Hope encourages us to believe in that tomorrow. Because hope is necessary, as this hope is one of the most important energies that any of us can want to acquire. Hope allows ourselves to see what the bare eyes do not see, but with possibility through faith, and that engraved actions that we're going to take. Hope is like a promise, but it's a promise with an inclusion of taking actions in a far way of what you're wishing for. You know, hope can be also can be characterized as a desire or a wish on a low plateau. That's also possible. Many of us exist on something like a plain wish regulate us. Sometimes to simply is regulate us. Sometimes to simply hope without groundings. So if I hope that tomorrow is better than mine today without any relevant think about it, any relevant personal input, or I have no meaning, input that has no meaning or value. So outside of the parameter of religion, sometimes without putting faith to that, people will say hope is somewhat on a shaky ground. So one can hope as hard one wants, but without anything to advance such hope, what it is meaningless. And that's to say, when I spoke about faith, hope being aligned with faith. So without that in mind, that's where your hope becomes meaningless. So just as can hope be for purpose, hope can be sometimes for purpose of good and greatness. So can it be, it can also be evil. Some people can hope to, they can equip their hope to be evil to other people. Let's be realistic here. This is a world we live in. So I'm thinking about the predators of 9/11. Had hoped that they thought that they can harm people. That's evil hope for what they spoke about. But that is probably not the hope that we're talking about, but it's an example. Having hope in something that are evil against humanity cannot likely be a good or reasoning or a pure hope that anyone wants at any level. So, as I spoke about hope in alignment with faith, hope, and love, there is a complexity of hope in this topic, because people can hope for things that are evil towards other human beings or other places in the world. I give an example of what the situation of 9/11. You know, I truly think that I don't want to make this seems like there's a construct of hope that might fall outside of religion, for the most part of humanity, because that in itself is in the midpoint. It can and cannot be. I think that we mostly do not enlist God in our hopes, because if we're enlisting God in our hopes, we truly will find values, and those values allow us with faith, and that faith provides us for that with evidence, even though we can't see it. But it's an anticipation with promise for tomorrow. It's an anticipation with inspiration, it's an anticipation of looking forward to tomorrow. So, if you look at hope, what I'd like you to look at hope is not simply sitting there and say, oh, I wish for a better tomorrow. Because wishing for a better tomorrow, hope has absolutely nothing to do with that phase of intentionality. Because hope is a vessel that fulfills itself with faith for the most part. Hope is a vessel that is positive. Hope is a vessel. It's not quite saying I'm optimistic, because that's different. But hope is a vessel that allows some form of expectation to something we're looking forward to, something good for us. So as you move down into the phase of hope, one will say, we hope. What do I hope for? I hope for change, because it pertains to the desire for what? Better tomorrow. We hope for change because it enables us to do what? To believe there's a promise on the horizon. We hope for change because it allows us to believe that every tomorrow will be better. Now, that's exactly the space. That is exactly the space of faith. Every tomorrow will be better than every yesterday. Hope is this. Hope is something that make us want to pursue improvements as it relates. It relates to where we have been as compared to where we are. Well, hope without an action plan. For hope, it means nothing. So it says that there remains a need that we should enlist hope within our own internal constitution. And that internal constitution moves us into those subjects that are facing forward and the need of anticipating for a better tomorrow. Where we are in a mindful, we remain in a mindful state in order to move forward with a precept of hope for ourselves. Now, hope is also the anchor of our humanness. It's what holds us together. It's like an anchor for a ship. If you think about that, hope is an anchor of our humanness. Hope is also something that brings us to a better tomorrow with a mindful state of making choices. It takes us to a place where we can guide ourselves in order to fulfill our goals, our human goals, things we want. It says, with faith, one moves mountain. And hope isn't even missing from that point. Because hope is right within that space. Hope allows us to have good thoughts. Hope allows us to be hopeful. Hope allows us to not only see the world from a place where that things are not going to be better, but hope allows us, in whatever current situations we are, to know that those current situations are not permanent for any of our destinations. Hope allows us to have a place in our heart that we can imagine, because we have to see it. It's a vision. Hope is also a part of our vision. We can imagine a better tomorrow. We can imagine accomplishing what we want to accomplish. Hope allows that. Hope gave us a view that is unseen. And with that, hope is patient. Because when you have patience, you are constantly in a space. That's the anticipation of that patient. Because you have in faith, you're going to have hope. You have to have faith to be hopeful, because you are entrusting your need to obtain a better outcome. So it is quite important that hope, as it says in Romans chapter 8 verse 24, that hope is directly aligned with faith. What can I leave you here today about hope? I'd like you to go ahead and think about hope as one of the few for our humanness. One of the few that we must remain in a very mindful state. And in order for us to move forward with the precept of hope, because one cannot be in the mind, cannot be without being in a mindful state and move forward. And to also look at hope as an anchor of our humanness, is an anchor that bonds us, that grounds us, that keeps us looking forward to a better tomorrow, a better world. Allows us to be interconnected with our fellow human beings and to see the best we can in others. Hope is an amazing, amazing, amazing thing, an amazing space to integrate into our life, because it is only with hope that we are promised tomorrow. I do want to thank you. This is a very short video. I will be back to talk about the subject matter in a blended way. I want to wish you a very beautiful day. It's quite a very beautiful day. I'm out here by the waterfall, so I just want to do a real quick video. So thank you, and I'll do hopefully as soon as possible I can do a live video. I want to say thank you and have a pleasant day, and just remember to be hopeful, because hope is the anchor, as hope is what gives us anticipation for tomorrow. Thank you and goodbye.